Hey guys, welcome back to Sense or Sense. My name is Evan, and today I want to bring you a little bit different video. We've talked about credit cards, we've talked about the rewards points, we've talked about cash back with regards to these credit cards. Today I want to talk about what I've done with my credit cards over the last several years, how I've accumulated these points, and maybe some strategy towards the end, so stick around. I want to use some of these points for some really unique opportunities, and I want to share what I've done so far this year and what I plan on doing before the end of the year with regards to some points redemptions at some hotels, as well as some flights that I've already booked going into 2025 actually. And I also want to get some feedback on an idea that I have with Citi and their points in my particular situation. So let's dive right in. I'm going to talk today a little bit about player one and player two. I'm lucky enough to have a wife that puts up with my credit card game. She has no desire to be a part of it as far as opening the cards and understanding what's going on with the cards, but she allows me to give her a card and says use this for specific reasons when she goes on vacation or when she does her own spending. And fortunately, we have accumulated some pretty good points due to her spending as well as mine. Guys, also it helps a lot that when you're small business owners, you're able to put a lot of spend on cards. And a lot of the spend that I'm going to talk about have come from sign-up bonuses. They've come from lots of spend with my wife's small business that we run almost all transactions through one or two cards. And I want to talk a little bit about all the different cards and all the different points that I have. So let's get right into it. So let's just go ahead and start. First of all, I have 70,381 Chase points at this point. My wife has 122,481. We've had quite a bit more in the past, but as of today, we have about roughly 200,000. We're trying to accumulate Chase points, as you probably have seen online and through other videos. Chase points are great for particularly Hyatt and some other redemptions. I've been using them a lot for Hyatt in the last couple of years, and later on in the video I'll share one of my Hyatt redemptions I think is pretty sweet, and maybe you can take advantage of it. So the next one that we have is Capital One. I have 367,819 points, and my wife has 42,500 points. We recently redeemed quite a few points on her Capital One card this year for several random trips that we went on, and we also used some points last year actually to redeem for business class tickets last minute to Hawaii. And so we have not really built up her stash at Capital One again, and I'm not sure I'm going to. There's a reason for that. I'd rather focus on using Chase or Citi with her, just because of some plans that we have coming up. So going on, American Express, I have 695,022 points, and my wife has 159,950 points. And she has a really unique setup at American Express because she has the American Express, the Schwab American Express Platinum card, which allows her to redeem her points for 1.1 cents per point to her Schwab account. And obviously we can transfer her points to other airlines and things like that, but I've got so many points, I'm not sure that the better solution isn't to just maybe take cash. I'd be curious to find out what anybody thinks out there once we get through this whole video, and to figure out with how many points I have and what I plan on spending in, say, the next 12 months, if that might not be a good idea. Because, you know, the points, they sit there, they don't accumulate any interest, they just get devalued over time, you know, and I'm not sure I want to leave 160,000 points sitting at her account kind of stranded for the time being. The next company issuer is Citi, and I have 37,446, and my wife has 29,019. Now, here's an interesting thing about this. I want to get into this video, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what I'm thinking about doing with Citi. I haven't been able to accumulate a lot of points with Citi. I've gotten rid of several of their cards over the last couple of years. I'm trying to reduce my annual fees, total annual fees that I'm paying each year. My goal is to get the annual fees as low as possible, and I'm only keeping a few cards each year open with annual fees. So my wife currently has a Citi custom cash, and so we're accumulating points on her account, which I can utilize later on. But I'm not really accumulating any Citi points, whereas I am accumulating a lot of Amex points, Capital One points, and Chase points. So let's tally up all those numbers real quickly and give you a full number. The full number of points that I have right now is 1,524,618. And I consider these to be, basically points that I can use for just about anything, because I can transfer those points to a lot of different portals. I do have a bunch of points. I've got several 100,000 points at multiple airlines, including Alaska and American Airlines. I'm not including that in this conversation because those are nowhere near as versatile. I can't transfer them to anywhere I want to, not necessarily be able to use them on certain redemptions that I want. So I'm leaving those out of the equation. I also have about 175,000 points at Hilton right now, and I've been getting some really good value from Hilton over the last couple years. And even though I'm not going to include that in the total number of points that I'm talking about in this video, I do want to tell you guys of one great redemption I had that's actually coming up. I'm actually going to Hawaii next month in July. This is being filmed on the last day of June, so actually it's only about 10 days away. I hope to bring some coverage from Hawaii about some more about how I basically redeemed quite a few Hilton points to get a very luxury property in Maui. And that will be a separate video, but I hope you stay tuned and tune into that as well, because I think I got tremendous value. And I'm taking my in-laws and my 6-year-old son and my wife, and we're staying in 2 rooms, and I was able to couple quite a few things together to make 6 nights, 3 nights in 2 separate rooms for a total of 6 nights for free. And it's pretty incredible. So if you'd like to hear more about that, I am going to post a video in the next couple coming weeks about that. But one thing I wanted to talk about tonight is I wanted to talk about the idea of cashing in, literally cashing in on my Citi points. I'm thinking about just taking a check, essentially, from Citi. They'll let you do a credit towards your spend on your Citi card. They'll let you get a check, and I'm just thinking about getting a check. I've got 37,446 points, so that's essentially, $374. I know it may not be the best deal for me, but I am not going to be accumulating a lot of Citi points going forward. I'm just really curious why I should hold on to them. If anybody has some really interesting ideas on redemptions with 37,000 points on Citi, I guess I'm all ears. But ultimately, I've got all these other points. I've got 1.5 million points with all these other carriers, with all these other cards that I can use, and I am using. In fact, the last thing I want to talk about today is what I've redeemed over the last several months for some pretty fun trips, actually. So my wife is just getting back tonight from a trip that she took with a girlfriend to Denver, Colorado. They went to see a concert there at Red Rocks Amphitheater. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been there before. I'm pretty jealous. I've never been before to Red Rocks, but I have been by the amphitheater, and I have been to Denver before. It's a beautiful place. I utilized 17,500 points to book a Hyatt house property for them for 2 nights. Averaged only, a little bit over 8,750 points a night, so basically an $87 equivalent, cash equivalent on my points from Chase transferring over to Hyatt. I got them a multi-$100 a night hotel room that slept them both comfortably. They got free breakfast. They were within 20 minutes of Red Rocks. and they raved about the location. It was just a beautiful location, clean hotel, great service, wonderful experience. So that's one of the redemptions I've done recently. Great value, at least 2 cents per point, almost 2.5 cents per point on that redemption. Another redemption I've done, which is really exciting for me, is my wife and I are going to celebrate our 10th anniversary in January of 2025. And so I've already planned our 6-night, 7-day excursion to Paris. And we're going to be flying from DFW direct to Paris on Air France business class. And I spent many hours and many days searching for the right redemption, but I utilized 110,000 basically Amex points to transfer over to Air France and book 2 round class tickets to France for my wife and myself. So it's $55,000, 55,000 points, not $55,000, 55,000 points each for us to do that. And it was a great redemption. The tickets were pushing $8,000 a piece. So I got a very hefty rate of return on my points there. Also, I redeemed a roughly 30,000 points per night to have us stay at the Hyatt Regency Paris there. That's absolutely beautiful. And it has great views of the Eiffel Tower. It has it'll include club access, so you can go up to the 37th floor and see the Eiffel Tower. And I can basically drink wine and have cheese and have appetizers with my wife for free in the evenings at this hotel. I put us up in a suite. It was a bit of an upgrade, but for my 10th anniversary, I felt like it was worth it. And I spent roughly 180,000 points on this redemption, and each one of those hotel room nights was $932 with tax. So you can imagine if I'm spending 30,000 points on a $932 hotel room, I'm getting over 3 cents per point redemption. That's phenomenal for a hotel, especially with club access, because the club access will probably save us between $50 and $100 per day, maybe more if we decide to drink quite a bit of wine in the club. So those have been my most recent redemptions. My wife and I will probably end up going to New Mexico at some point before the end of the summer, and we'll use some additional Hilton points at one of their properties, or use some additional points from one of our other credit cards for several nights in northern New Mexico and possibly into Colorado, depending on how much time we have. But I'm curious what you think about the whole city strategy, since I'm not going to accumulate very many more points. I've got 37,446. I'm wondering if I shouldn't just cash them out. What do you guys think? I'd be really interested to hear any ideas that you have about the city in general. Their new Strata card is interesting to me. I've had the Premier before, the City Premier that they recently shut down and replaced the Strata. I might consider getting the Strata and getting a bonus on it, a sign-up bonus. If I can do that, maybe I'll keep the points and utilize them for a transfer partner. But I'm very interested to hear some thoughts on this. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you like this kind of format, give me a like and leave a comment below. I'd like to do this kind of format every once in a while, maybe once a month, kind of give an update on what I'm spending my points on. If you guys have any questions about point redemptions or anything like that, I'd be happy to help there too. But thank you again. My name is Evan. This is Sense or Sense. I'd appreciate the like button, commenting below, and subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell. I'll be back soon with some additional content. Thank you.